All right, welcome to ethics and professionalism. Let's look at the difference between the two. Ethics means you uphold moral standards when doing business. So you just do the moral thing or the right thing. Whereas professionalism, you are a professional if you behave well. So appropriate and acceptable behavior in the workplace. All right, so that's the difference between the two. Ethics has to do with doing the right thing, just do the moral thing. Whereas professionalism has to do with your behavior, how you behave in the workplace. All right, let's continue. So, how businesses can uphold professional and ethical business practices. Remember, two documents will help a business stay professional and ethical. The first document is the mission statement. So, the mission statement of the business should clearly state the ethical values and professionalism standards. So, it must be stated in the mission statement. The other document that will help the business stay professional and ethical is a code of conduct. So, the business must draw up a code of conduct to regulate ethics and professionalism. And then the business should also be transparent. So transparency just means that there are no secrets in the business, like a transparent window you can see through. So business decisions and actions must be transparent with all stakeholders. So these three measures will help a business stay professional and ethical. Okay, so let's look at the King Code. And the easiest way to memorize the King Code is to think of the king rat. This king is a rat, and we can see them in the picture. It's a nice memory trick to remember the King Code because the R for rat is responsibility, the A is for accountability, and the T in rat is for transparency. So let's start with the responsibility. Business must be socially and environmentally responsible. So they must be responsible to the society or the community, but they must also be responsible to the environment. So business must comply with all the laws and regulations. So that will be responsibility. Accountability, on the other hand, it means if you are accountable, then it means you're taking accountability for your actions and decisions. So business should appoint internal and external auditors. Remember, auditors, they check that the money is being used properly. So in order to be accountable, the business should appoint internal and external auditors to check that the business funds are used correctly. Transparency, on the other hand, we've already explained, like a window, transparent or clear window, you can see through. So business decisions and actions must be clear to all stakeholders. Hiring and other processes should be transparent. Okay, and lastly, we need to look at the 6 types of unethical business practices. The business doesn't want to do these 6 unethical actions. And again, we've got a memory trick here that we can use, and that memory trick would be put USA. All right, just a little memory trick where the P input is for prices of goods in rural areas, the U is for unfair advertising, the T is for tax evasion, and we come to the USA side. The U would be for unauthorized use of business funds, sexual harassment, abuse of work time, and resources for the A. Now, this memory trick should help you remember the 6 unethical business practices. So let's start with the first one. Prices in rural areas. So business should charge a fair price for goods in rural areas. Don't charge higher prices because the people in rural areas, they are far off and they are desperate, and then you charge them higher price. This is not ethical. So businesses in the same rural areas must share transport costs so that eventually they don't end up charging higher prices in the rural areas. The U, unfair advertising. Business adverts should be legal and truthful, so the business should not lie when advertising products. And the business adverts should not criticize other businesses. You must just focus on your own advertising. Tax evasion. Tax evasion means the business does not pay tax to SARS. This is also unethical. So the business must declare the correct amount to SARS. Declare the correct amount to SARS. Secondly, the business must file and submit all tax returns, also done at SARS. Unauthorized use of business funds. Employees should not use business funds illegally or unlawfully. So the business must limit the number of people who have access to the business funds or to the business money. You shouldn't have everyone having access to the business funds. Sexual harassment can be avoided by educating employees regarding sexual harassment. Just educate employees so they know about sexual harassment. Secondly, we need to have a sexual harassment policy. The business must have a sexual harassment policy that highlights all the steps that will be taken if someone sexually harasses another. Abuse of work time and resources, the last point. Management must address employees who abuse work time and resources. Again, we can set up a code of conduct to make sure employees do not abuse work time and resources, such as taking longer breaks, all right, or using business resources for their own benefit. So there must be a code of conduct, and employees who constantly abuse work time and resources must be addressed directly, because this too is unethical. Okay, this is the end of the video. Thank you.